Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the channel. Now I think half of the UK is going to be feeling a little bit hungover this morning after the Euro final. I mean, the better team won, but we did play well. We was unlucky, but that's football. It's what it is, isn't it? We'll try again in 2026. Anyway, less of the football. We are down here at Majestic Pool, just near Beverley. It's about 50 minutes from where I live. I have fished here twice before. One were about 5 years ago. Me and Chris came 2 nights. I don't think either of us caught. We fished 2 pegs on the opposite bank, and then we did a lake exclusive, which is the first video we ever did for YouTube. And I was actually in this peg, and I caught a 26.5 pound mirror from this peg. So I've come back to the same peg. 2 reasons: the far bank, every peg's taken up apart from the car park, but there was a bucket to reserve it. And then I've come up here, one because the wind's blowing this way. It is about 21 degrees or something at the minute, and I must have seen 25 fish just milling about on the surface. I know tomorrow it's going to absolutely bounce it down. The wind's going to blow that way, but then it is going to come back this way, so I've edged my bets. I've come back in here, I've got my 3 rods out. 2 of them are at, one's on, well, one of them's on like a little clear area. It's only about 32 yards out, something like that. The other one, my middle rod, it's to the far margin, again at about 30 yards ish. That's on a nice little clear area. And then my right hand rod, I found a nice little gravelly area just tucked right into the right hand side of this far banking. So fingers crossed, we're here for 48 hours. Now, I took my time finding some spots. I know there is a map what you can get on the Sticky Baits website. It tells you like hot spots and stuff like that. So I think the right hand rod is on one of the gravel areas where it says on that map, and then the middle rod is on one of the hot spots, so to speak, and then my left hand rod just on the bit of gravel. So like I say, fingers crossed. I've got 2 running rigs on and a hinge stiff rig, one with a yellow pop-up, one with a pink pop-up, and one with a white one. Whichever goes first, I will switch to, all 3 of them on that. So yeah, I'll run you through my bait now.
I've got some shelf life hemp and maize from Angling Direct and some corn from Aldi. 2 types of boilies crushed up in the Ridge Monkey crusher, and some liquids. So the hemp and maize goes into the bucket first, and of course the dog has to come and have a look, see what we're doing. Second goes in the crushed boilie. This gives the fish plenty to be grubbing round on the bottom for. A good dose of 2 different liquids which match both of the boilies. Give that a real good mix up. I haven't actually put the corn in yet, I was afraid it might go off. And then we've got a lovely little spod mix.
I've just put about 6 sponfuls over each rod for now. I added the corn in when I got here this morning, and a boatload more liquid. So yeah, like I say, 6 sponfuls over each rod. Keep us fingers crossed. I know it's only about 3 acres, varies 8 to 9 foot, something like that. And I think there's only about 140 fish or something like that in here, but 75% of them are over 20 and the rest 30. One did 40 earlier in the year, the slate grey. It did actually come out on Friday or Saturday at 39.12, so it has dropped back under the 40 pound barrier, but still hell of a fish, not to be sniffed at if it were to be caught. So yeah, I'm gonna sort the rest of my gear out because it's a bit of a mad rush getting here and then finding these spots and then getting your rigs tied and getting them cast and baited, so maybe it was a bit of a mess, so give that a bit of a tidy up, and then who knows what'll happen. Well, annoyingly, it's just starting to rain. It's about 5 o'clock now. I think I've had the rods at about 2 hours or so, something like that. A nice little tip for you, if you are in a really tight swim and you can't get your distance sticks, you know, your full 12 foot, just do them at 6 foot. Just put both rings on one of the sticks, and then smack bang at the other end you'll have your half marker. Put your other stick into that and just double up your wraps. That's what I've had to do here. To be fair, there's nobody in the peg next to me, so when I did actually come and start, I did put them in there at full 12 foot and did it that way, but then I did hear somebody turn up, so I pulled them back out, I put them back in, and the spod rod was still left at like the shorter spot. So I've just gone round that. It's 12. I mean, it was just over 6 1/4 at 12 foot, but now it's, you know, just over 12 and a half to sort of 12 3/4. So I've just put a little stick in the ground. So when I go around it, it's 12 and whatever to that stick, and then the other ones, instead of being 8, they're going to be 16. So that's a nice little tip. If you're fishing a really tight swim and you can't really, you know, you've not much room to work and move like I haven't here, but still seeing plenty of fish on the surface out there. In fact, I remember when we came last time for that lake exclusive, I sent the drone out and there must have been 30 or 40 fish. I'll find the footage and I'll put it into this, but it was quite something, to be honest. And you know, some of them were absolute lumps as well. So we came in April, I think it was 3 years ago, so April 2021. It wasn't long after COVID, or when you was allowed back out fishing and what have yous from COVID. It was really hot through the day, really sunny, and then at night it was absolutely freezing. But yeah, I had one, Chris had one, and then another lad who came with us, he had one. So Chris was 20 pounds, something, mine were 26 and a half, and the other lads were 19 and a half, I think it was. So there were 5 of us fishing, 3 days. So for April, 3 fish. I guess it's not to be sniffed at, but like I say, there's 6 of us on today. I think one drops off tomorrow, and then there'll be 5 for the second night. So I'm hoping that something will happen, or we'll start seeing them getting caught down other end, and obviously they've moved. But that right hand rod on that little gravel area, I think I've got a good feeling for that one. So when the rain stops, I'm going to have some tea. I've got some beef kebabs or something like that from Aldi, or kofta kebabs. So yeah, just I'll give you a little update and a nice quick little tip if you're fishing a really small, tight, compact peg. It's gone very quiet now. Can't see many of the fish, you know, on the surface and stuff like we could earlier, but it is cooling down a bit. It's about 9:15. I'm very, very surprised the guy opposite me hasn't caught one yet, because the amount of fish jumping in that corner, it's unreal. I must have seen 10 proper boshes. I know the guy next to him, he had like a funny run. He says it pulled up tight. I could hear him from over here. It said like pulled up tight and then just dropped down and pulled up again and stayed there. I think he hit into him, but there was nothing there. I'm still feeling, you know, pretty confident in the amount of fish that we have seen down here. So I've been waiting for it to get a bit cooler for him to hopefully get on the feed. I've put another 5 or 6 spods over each rod, or the 2 on this far margin anyway, and then the left hand rod. to be honest, I've just given it a bit of a pub chuck to the longer gravelly area at about 58 yards, so it is just single pop up, there's no bait over it. Just give it the big one, pelt it down. We'll see if out comes off that. I doubt it, but you never know. The two spots I'm feeling most confident are the two on this far bank. So I think it's time to batten down the hatches a bit, put kettle on, make a cuppa, watch a bit of telly in bed. Well, watch a bit of telly on my phone in the bivvy, wait for it to get dark and see if we get a proper mill pond, and then see if we can see anything sure. But like I say, there's been plenty of fizzing in and around these two, in the middle of my right hand rod. There's been huggings of fish out in front of us. Like I say, I don't know how he's not caught over there, but going into the first night, I'm feeling very confident. We'll see if we can get, see if we get a run through at night or early in the morning. As confident as I was last night, there was nothing to show for it. I got woke up about 1 o'clock. The right hand rod, which is the rod that I thought was going to be the one that would go, give off about 3 bleeps. So shot out of bed, got the head torch on, unzipped the bivvy, bobbin amp moved. Just as I got back into the bivvy, beeped again twice, no movement. So I don't know if that was a fish or some of the fish was moving out. I'm not sure if anything else has been caught around the lake. Obviously I never heard anything last night. I was up till about 1:30ish. But yeah, the weather's a bit different to yesterday. It's on and off rain. I mean, it started at about 10 o'clock last night, so I think it's going to be like this till about 4 or 5 o'clock today. So I think it's going to be a bit bivvy bounding, just watching the water and stuff like that. I have moved one of the rods. I've moved my right hand rod to there's like a willow tree further up the far banking. It's about 50 yards cast. So I just dropped it in front of that and then put about 10 sponfuls over the top. I know, well, apparently, and I have been told it is supposed to be a productive area. Why I didn't put it there yesterday, I don't know, but hey ho, it's there now. That's just got a runny rig on there with a yellow pop up, and like I say, 10 sponfuls over the top. So yeah, I've redone the left hand rod. That's at about 60 yards. That's still got the pink pop up on, and that's again on a runny rig. And then this right hand rod's on a hinge stiff rig, and that's on a yellow pop up as well, but a different flavour to the other two. So yeah, not to show you as yet. I wish the signs were all there yesterday for a bite. I did hear 1 or 2 bosh further up there, but then I still heard plenty of boshing down here, so I haven't seen or heard anything since I've been up. But yeah, we'll keep going. Forgot to mention yesterday, Chris had a little birthday session with somebody that he used to work with, can't remember, on a lake exclusive. They were there Friday, Saturday night until Sunday. Chris had 4 runs. I think he lost 2, but he did catch a 25-pound 4 sturgeon and an 18-pound catfish. So I'll put the pictures of them up. The sturgeon looks an absolute brute of a fish. Apparently it fought like a demon, and as he struck, it dived out the water and all sorts. So I bet that was quite something to see. So something I've never caught, a sturgeon. Something I would like to catch one day, but at the minute I'm trying to chase that 30-pound carp, and there's plenty of them in here, so keep these crossed in here. Apologies, I've been a bit quiet on the update front today, but that's simply because there's been nothing to update you on other than it was supposed to hammer it down all day, and it's come out with glorious sunshine. Still a bit cloudy, but when the sun has been out, it's been pretty warm. I think it's been about 18-19 degrees. Plenty of fish washing still in that top corner, so again, our matey on the other side hasn't bagged yet. To be honest, I don't know if he's got one in that corner because he's been putting everything out with a bait boat. I've been sort of watching where he's been putting them, and I don't think he's had one in that corner. But half at session he's been sat in his mate's peg, so he's not able to see any of them fish jumping. I've had a couple of liners, one on the left hand rod, and I actually thought it was going, and then it dropped all the way back. Then the right hand rod, which is right into this corner, that had a couple of bleeps as well. So there is still fish around here. Obviously been able to see a couple of them when the sun's come up, but they're not in the masses like there was yesterday. I'm hoping the wind is slowly starting to trickle again back this way, so I am hoping that will bring a lot more of them this way. Yeah, they're still sort of on the surface, but hopefully when it cools down a bit tonight, they'll hopefully get their heads down and get jumping on some bait. Let's see what tonight brings. Hopefully a big chunk of a carp. Morning. Well, what a morning I thought it was going to be. About 5 o'clock this morning, left hand rod, which run on the 60-yard spot, absolutely tore off, melted off, proper belting run, hit into it. Felt like I was playing a decent fish. I was playing it for, I don't know, 5 to 10 minutes. And I noticed as soon as I woke up, the guy not opposite me, but in the next peg, he was also playing a fish. But I could feel it, taking line and gaining line and stuff like that. Anyway, after about 10 minutes, it came off. Absolutely wounded, reeling it in. When I got close to, picking the rig and everything, I had his rig, and he shouted over, "Oh, I've lost mine too." So whether he's had one and got tangled up in my line, or he's had one and I've had a run, and somehow they've been very, very close together. We've both lost them, and then I've pulled his rigging. I don't know. I'm not sure which way. It did feel like I was playing a fish, not just tangled up in someone else's line and they're pulling and I'm pulling. But anyway, came round. We weren't sure if he'd been snapped off or whatever, and I had his rig on floor here. So he came round. I was talking to him for 5 minutes. He had a 27.5 pounder this morning at 3:30. He never said whether his mate had anything or not. And then he walked around and, just, take the slack out of the line if you just chuck it back in. So I've done that. Wounded. I'm not 100% sure if there was a fish on both rigs or he's just caught up in my rig. I don't know, but I've made sure while I've been here that I give the lines time to properly sink before I put the bobbins on, keep pulling more off and letting it pull it out and sink. So I don't know. I really don't know, but still a bit of a kick in the teeth. So it's about 6 o'clock now. Got sort of 6.5 hours before I've got to be off. Still time for something to happen. There's fish showing here, there and everywhere, so The one did show sort of just over the middle rod not that long ago, but like I say, there's still time. Keep my fingers crossed. But thus far, I'm drawing a blank. Just had one. Well, that's it, on time. Unfortunately, it was a blank. I have enjoyed it. It's been quite nice to fish somewhere, not get absolutely trashed by the swans, the coots, whatever else. You know, going over the front sea lines, picking up all your bait. Like I say, it's the first session I've had here in over 3 years. I'm 100% sure that was a bite this morning, not just a tangle up. And by the sounds of it, there's been quite a few bites and whatnot across the lake. So him opposite, I saw I had one. The guy who I ended up having his rig, he had one, and then he had that run. And just as I was packing up, there's another guy, he said he's had one, lost one this morning. So pretty active. But that's it, I'm going home. I will come back. I'm going to try treat this as my sort of 24-hour water, and if I can't get onto here, then I'll drop back to New Way. And then when I can do 48 hours like today, I'll either do the approach or the other fish what I've got in mind. It's winter set on the called Heenley Reservoir, which is 28 acres, so plenty of waters to be going at, keep me going. But yeah, if you've liked any of this content, you like any of it on the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, do whatever you want. And if you haven't checked out their memberships already, don't forget to give them a check out. I'll see you later.